Hi, I'm Stephanie Gilmore, Curator of Collections here at the Colorado Railroad Museum. As part of our Small Wonders video series, we are highlighting parts of our non-rolling stock collection. And today our topic is railroad uniforms. And as you can see, we have several different kinds in our collection. So most conductor uniforms are reminiscent of military uniforms and are designed for the purpose of professionalism and to set the rail staff apart from the passengers. A professional look provides a sense of security and authority for the passenger and says, this is the person I go to for questions or if there's an issue that needs attention. Railroad companies started producing official uniforms for train crews in approximately 1870. Prior to that time, conductors would wear clothing that reflected formal wear of the day, such as a jacket, waistcoat or vest, and trousers. Our first uniform example is a jacket from Amtrak and dates to about 1972. The name Amtrak is actually a blend of the words America and track. When it came to uniforms, Amtrak hired architect turned fashion designer Bill Atkinson to design uniforms to match the rolling stock and the other rail employees so that the entire staff appeared as a cohesive team. He intentionally used schemes of red, white, and blue to show patriotism and to reflect the American spirit of the Amtrak company. As you can see here, he also incorporated the Amtrak service mark, a chevron, on this particular uniform. This same chevron is seen on Amtrak chef hats and even on its rolling stock from the time. Typically, conductor uniforms consisted of a three-piece suit, including a vest, a jacket, and matching trousers. And of course, the outfit isn't complete without a hat. Early on, conductors would have worn hats popular in the day, such as bowlers, derbies, or top hats. But following the Civil War, hats were derived from military hats like kepis or shakos, or sea captain hats like the one you see here. Next, we have a chef or a waiter's uniform from the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy line. This jacket dates to the early to mid-20th century and would have been worn by a chef or a waiter in the dining car. It really is no different from food staff uniforms outside of railroading in a restaurant. You may wonder why chefs' uniforms are white. Well, according to the Escoffier Culinary Institute, white has been the color of kitchen staff uniforms for centuries, and the reason is that white symbolizes cleanliness and sterility, so naturally one would want kitchen and food service people to be clean. We also have a chef's hat, which is formerly known as a toque. The word toque is actually derived from the Arabic word for hat, and the chef hat is very symbolic. The height and the number of pleats in the hat both show the expertise and rank of the chef. The taller the hat, the higher ranking the chef, and the more pleats in the hat represent the extent of experience of the chef. Also, the toque specifically is reserved for the high-ranking kitchen staff, so you would not see it worn by a dishwasher or a prep cook, for example. They would be wearing what's called a side cap or no cap at all. Next, we have an engineer's uniform, which consists of overalls and a hat. Ours are modern and only about 20 years old. Clearly not as formal as the conductor's or chef's uniform, this outfit was more for practicality than anything else. The style of overalls and hat date to approximately 1890, but the trend of using blue and white striped fabric, or seersucker, dates to about 1920. Seersucker fabric is textured in a way that allows better airflow between the wearer's skin and the fabric, thus creating a cooling effect. This would make sense for the engineer to need cooler temperatures when working in the cab so close to the firebox. Overalls and long sleeves were also a necessity to protect the engineer from cinders and coal dust. It further makes sense to wear overalls so that the engineer would never have to worry about pulling up their pants as they ran the engine. A hat would serve as protectant against cinders, but also as a sun visor. This hat is known as a hoghead hat because locomotives were nicknamed hogs, so engineers became affectionately known as hogheads. Lastly, you may wonder why we have these two little dolls here when we're talking about uniforms. These are part of our collection and are called Buddy Lee dolls. Buddy Lee dolls were created by the Lee Jeans Company to sell uniforms. They were primarily used for selling denim products and thus advertised for jobs such as engineers, gas station attendants, and delivery men. After they served their purpose to advertise the uniforms, they were often sold as toys to children. This popularity brought about other characters like cowboys to the repertoire. Buddy Lee was popular from about 1920 to 1962. Our Buddy Lee dolls both date to the 1950s. The one with the bandana is not as old as the other one, and this is based upon the condition and the fact that his uniform has a sanforized label. Sanforization is the process of pre-shrinking cotton fabric so that the consumer does not have it shrink upon its first washing. Also, the older doll has what's called a long L design on the buttons, which is older than the regular L button design of later years. These little guys are a very popular part of our collection and represent the popularity of Lee overalls for train engineers in the mid-20th century. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you will join us next time for more treasures from our unique artifact collections.
If you enjoy our content, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Sharing and commenting in particular may qualify as virtual engagements for important funding programs like the SCFD.